Did the Civil War really end in 1865? On paper, yes. The Confederacy surrendered. Slavery was abolished. The Union was preserved. But if you look closer, the war never truly ended. It simply transformed, from a military conflict into a battle over memory, power, and rights that still shapes America today. After the Union victory, Reconstruction brought hope. For the first time, African Americans gained political power. They could vote, own land, even hold office. In fact, by the 1870s, there were black senators and congressmen representing the South. But almost immediately, that progress faced violent resistance. White supremacist groups like the Ku Klux Klan terrorized black communities. Southern states passed black codes, laws that kept freedmen tied to poverty and restricted their rights. By 1877, federal troops withdrew from the South, effectively abandoning Reconstruction. That opened the door for nearly 100 years of segregation under Jim Crow laws. The Civil War's front lines shifted, from battlefields to courthouses and state legislatures. Another way the war never ended was in how it was remembered. Southern leaders pushed the lost cause myth, portraying the Confederacy as noble, slavery as not the real issue, and secession as a fight for states' rights. This narrative was taught in schools, carved into monuments, and spread across the country. Statues of Confederate generals went up not right after the war, but decades later, often during the early 1900s and the Civil Rights Movement, as a way to intimidate and reinforce white supremacy. So the war wasn't just about history, it became about controlling the story of history. Fast forward to the mid-20th century. The Civil Rights Movement looked a lot like a continuation of the unfinished war. African Americans fought for the same rights that Reconstruction had promised almost 100 years earlier: the right to vote, to go to school, to live free from terror. And just like after the Civil War, progress faced backlash. School desegregation was met with protests. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was challenged with new restrictions decades later. Once again, the war resurfaced in new forms. Even now, debates over Confederate monuments, systemic racism, and voting rights show that the Civil War's core conflicts are still unresolved. When people argue over whether to take down a statue, or whether racial inequality is real, they're really arguing about the legacy of the Civil War. It's not North versus South with canons anymore, it's cultural, political, and ideological. So when history books say the Civil War ended in 1865, that's only half true. The battles didn't end, they just changed shape. And in many ways, America is still fighting the Civil War today. What do you think? Did the Civil War ever really end? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history.